Anton Lavey was a man of many talents. He worked as a carny, a musician, and a psychic before founding the Church of Satan in 1966. The church attracted a diverse group of followers who were drawn to Lavey's unorthodox views on religion and spirituality. Anton was a fascinating man. He was very charismatic and had a way of making you feel like you were part of something special. Many joined the Church of Satan because they were looking for something different. Anton's teachings resonated with them in a way that nothing else had before. Despite its controversial reputation, the Church of Satan thrived under Lavey's leadership. But even the most powerful figures have their vulnerabilities. He was a controversial figure in the 1960s and 70s, known for his black masses and rituals. He believed in the power of the occult, and his teachings attracted a large following in the 1960s and 70s. Fascinated by the darker aspects of human nature, he believed that the power of the occult could be harnessed to achieve one's goals. His Church of Satan was not a religious organization. On the contrary, he advocated self-reliance and self-actualization through occult practices. Anton Lavey was no stranger to strange and uninvited guests at his infamous headquarters known as the Black House, located at 6114 California Street in San Francisco, California. From the curious to weirdos to even militant religious zealots, security began to be a serious concern as he gained infamy with his movement. For privacy and security reasons, he ended up erecting a large iron fence around his property. But one encounter he had with a young man would stay with him for the rest of his life. It was a dark and stormy night in San Francisco in the early 1980s. Anton Lavey was at home when he heard a knock on his door. He overheard his security guard telling someone that Anton Lavey was not seeing guests at the time. After his security told him what happened, Lavey watched out one of his street-facing windows that allowed him to see out in front of his property and onto the street. Due to the way his large iron fence was constructed and his property's elevation, he could see out, but no one on the street could see in. He noticed a thin man with a hood, seemingly circling his block, trying to inconspicuously peer into his property. Lavey finally had enough and rushed out to his gate to confront the man, with his security rushing behind him. Lavey was known for being confrontational. Amongst those that knew him, he was also known to keep a small caliber pistol on him while at his compound. As he rushed to the gate, he yelled to the tall, hooded man to come to him, with his hand on his pistol concealed in his jacket pocket. He was thin, with long hair and piercing eyes. The man explained he was merely a huge fan of Lavey's work and just wanted to meet him. The strange man extended his hand for a handshake. Lavey was immediately suspicious of the young man and asked him to leave. "Well, you've met me, now get the hell out of here before you make me use this," Lavey allegedly told the man as he disclosed the handle of his pistol from his jacket pocket. But the man didn't give up. He continued to contact Lavey, sending him letters, even showing up at his home unannounced again. Lavey, intrigued by the man's interest in the occult, decided to correspond with him. Over the course of several months, they exchanged letters, discussing their shared fascination with the dark side. Some reports that Anton Lavey welcomed the man into his black house and even performed a ritual for him. But as time went on, Lavey began to sense something sinister in the man's messages. He became convinced that the man was more than just an admirer of the occult. A few months later, a serial killer began terrorizing the Los Angeles area and was responsible for a string of brutal murders, rapes, and burglaries. The police had released a composite sketch of the serial killer, and Anton Lavey couldn't help but notice the striking resemblance to the young man who had visited him a few months earlier. Anton began to suspect the man he met was the serial killer, and that he had unknowingly let him into his home. He immediately contacted the authorities and informed them of his suspicions. Anton was correct in his suspicions. The man was Richard Ramirez, also known as the infamous Night Stalker, a cat burglar-like serial killer who paralyzed the city of Los Angeles for almost a year in 1985. Richard Ramirez was eventually captured, convicted, and executed for his crimes. To this day, the encounter between Anton Lavey and Richard Ramirez remains shrouded in mystery. Was it just a chance encounter, or did Richard Ramirez have something more sinister in mind? We may never know.